melee guide in Red Dead Online. Tips, tricks, tests and stuff like this. And now it's a hammer time. Dun, doo doo dun, doo dun, doo dun, can touch this. Let's begin with some basics. So there are buttons for hitting, blocking and choking your opponent. I'm not telling you the keyboard buttons because I reassigned them from the really beginning. They weren't really good enough and I suggest you to do the same if you're playing on a keyboard. Punches don't do much damage, they are easily blockable and after you making a block you can make a guaranteed 1 or 2 punches. Spamming block button uses some amount of stamina but not too much, so you don't really have to be worried about. And this whole system is really unbalanced because at any time you can go for a choke, and if you have right settings or you have a stamina tonic, you would probably win this fight and finish your opponent really fast. This whole mechanic's not gonna be really used in a real PvP situation because people would either choke you or just spam a fire button and execute. But before we go to some real working melee strategies for PvP, let's make some tests. So, simple punch deals really small amount of damage as you can see, but let's try it with the maximum damage build for melee. Focus fires, the short game, lengthens patience and peak condition. We are turning Dead Eye on and making a hit. As you can see, there is some significant amount of extra damage we are dealing with, so it's good to know that these ability cards are working on a melee attack. So if you are making some sort of fight club competition, just make sure that your opponent won't have any of ability cards equipped. Now let's make some tests with using some actual melee weapons, and using machete we are doing a lot of damage. I would say I was pretty surprised by the result. Now we're gonna use maximum damage build with machete, and one shot almost hits for all the HP bar, and that's a lot. It's some solid result. But maybe, just maybe, the most effect on this maximum damage build is made by the short game ability card. Let's test it. So now we are going to use only the short game. We're making a hit and you can see the result. There is some damage increase, but I'm not impressed. There is one more thing that we absolutely must have to test, is whether damage that's shown in the stats for melee weapons does actually means something, because you know it's a Rockstar game. Now we are going to use the hammer because it has much less damage than machete, and making a hit with maximum damage build, and you can see the difference between hammer and the machete, so this stats actually means something. But there is something you have to know: attacking from behind with any type of weapon would perform an insta kill. Keep in mind that you don't have to be running will perform a different kind of action, and if you are attacking from the side, it's gonna do the same. You're gonna attack like you're doing it from behind. So if you wanna be really effective and achieve better results, don't do this face to face, try to do this from behind.
That's what she said.
But in a real PvP you gonna make these melee attacks after you sprinting, and there is a different kind of mechanics, actually two mechanics. Pressing B or ring gonna perform this jump, you gonna grab your opponent down, and if he's not gonna be reacting by pressing the same button, you gonna just insta kill him. The side from which you are making this attack also matters a lot, but we're gonna talk about this later with more details. Anyway, if you are performing this jump and your opponent starts to react after this, reacts by pressing this red button, then you're gonna be in this sort of a duel. Whoever runs out of stamina loses. And at this point more advanced part of this video begins. So if you're interested in this deep stuff, and I'm not talking about Dostoevsky, I'm talking about Red Dead Online, then maybe consider subscribing and pressing this bell notification. First trick: you absolutely have to go to the settings, controls, and at the bottom of the list you're gonna see the parameter that you absolutely have to change to push hold. It has to be not tapping but holding. So here is the test. My opponent has this parameter set to tap and I have set to hold, and as you can see, you always gonna win in a fight this way. Okay, sounds easy enough, you might say. So you changing set parameter and then just holding the button, and you know what's happening, you still gonna lose, because there is another trick. The right way of tapping and holding this button is not so easy, it's like a science.
That's what she said.
Okay, so you have to set this parameter on hold and still tap and or push this button as fast as you can. Now you can see my target doing this, and we have the same parameters, and that's how I'm not gonna win in this duel. If you're gonna run with acceleration to your target and instead of pressing this circle or B button, you're gonna press the fire button, then you're gonna perform this push. But if you're gonna run on your target from like face-to-face position and would try to perform either push or this jump, and he's gonna react before you would do this, he's just gonna block you and not gonna let you do this, just like you have seen now. And of course your opponent has to react by pressing the red button, circle or B. He's gonna push you back by doing so. And again, if you are attacking from behind, there is absolutely nothing your opponent will be able to do. You gonna perform your action and then just one shot kill. Attacking from the side works a little bit differently. You will be able to perform a jump, but your opponent will push you away immediately. Of course, if he started to react before you made a jump. By the way, when you are attacking like face to face, there is no difference between pressing this jump button or push button, which is fire. Your opponent will still push you away if he's reacting in the right time. There is another advanced tip. If you're gonna hold a lasso when you're gonna sprint into your target, there is absolutely nothing your opponent will be able to do to not let you perform either push or a jump. It doesn't matter, you can choose anything you want. You can push them on the ground and just finish them, or you can just jump on them because the distance for this move is bigger, and then tie them up and do whatever you want with them. Also, when using a lasso, it absolutely doesn't matter from which side you are attacking your target, it's gonna be the same result. All this melee mechanics is not something that you're gonna use all the time, but knowing about them will give you some advantage in PvP. So I hope that this video was interesting and useful for you, and if you know some extra information about this melee mechanics and maybe I tested something incorrectly, please let me know in the comments below, and also we can go and just discuss in the comments this whole melee mechanics system. As always, thank you for watching, see ya, goodbye.